Today, I'm going to talk to you about efforting versus achieving. But before I do, come with me. I'm just going to lean into a little bit of trust, a little bit of divine trust. So close down through your eyes and allow the divine trust to be brought to you. Now, for many of you, it wouldn't be possible for you to feel this magnificent energy of divine trust because it is big if you weren't being held by me. And capability I have that can show you the things that I have experienced or I can be a part of. And it's not because I'm super special. I am super special, but so are you. It's not because I'm more special than you. It's just because I have a capability that helps me to light the path for you towards where you might want to move, towards the change that might feel good for you. So in this moment, allow me to share divine trust with you. Trust of what? Trust of me. For both of us. It's been a while since I've done a video, and I'm trusting I can bring you what you need to hear. So you can trust me too. Second thing I'm trusting is that the right words will come out. The thing that you need to hear, I will say. Because as many of you know, I come onto these recordings with a title, Efforting versus Achieving. And then I step into a co-creation energy with God. And I say, okay, I can feel what it is that you want me to bring. But I don't know all the words. I don't have a script. I don't know quite how it's going to go. And part of my energy loves this, adores it. I couldn't do it in any other way because the play and the excitement and the spontaneity is so important for me. But there's another little part of me that goes, it might be quite nice to know. Every time I do these videos, I finish them and go, yeah, that's what I needed to say. So this is the trust I'm feeling. And trust is powerful for me. I am so good at trust. Many times in my life, it's been called naivety. Many times in my life, it's been called optimism, crossing my fingers, hitting and hoping. But it wasn't. It was trust. It was I knew that things would work out. And it's even easier for me now in my awakened and evolved state. I don't carry around the stuff that might have led me to trust in a situation that I shouldn't be. A fear that if I wasn't trusting, there was something wrong with me. Maybe it worked the other way. Maybe there were times I didn't trust when I knew I could and maybe would feel better to, but I didn't trust because, well, that's not what everyone else is telling me to do. That's not what past experiences have taught me felt good. But now in this state, I can lean into trust more than I ever could. And because of my capability, you can. I can help you to do the same. And this is powerful, and this is potent, and this is important because trust underpins so much. Trust allows you to welcome change. Trust allows you to take a new perspective on something that's happened. Trust allows you to love, to accept love. Trust allows you to hope for more. So I'm shining my light of trust, bathing you in this golden light so that you can now step with me into this video. Feel the energy change. Efforting versus achieving. I've been talking about this heaps in my Pilates classes, in my movement classes. Because so often we exist in habitual patterns held within our physical cells of our body, or even in our non-physical cells of our energetic mind and our souls. And those habitual patterns were formed because at some time they were helpful. But they're habitual, which means that we do them without consciously connecting. We do them without questioning whether it still feels good to do them. And so often, habitual patterns no longer feel good. Why is that? Because you are a powerful energy of change. You create change. It's inherent as part of you that you are a creator. It is why you came to have this physical life, to give you an opportunity like no other to create. You want to create. Every one of your cells wants to create. And in creating, we bring change. So therefore, habitual patterns where there is no change don't feel that good to us. Maybe initially, experiences happen that teach us that, oh, if I react like this, it feels good. And so we do it again. And the next time a similar experience uprises, we step into that same pattern again. We go, oh yeah, it's good. I found a way to make myself feel good, even in the face of a storm, even in the face of adversity. Brilliant. However, you are changing. Every time you use that habitual pattern, it's feeling slightly different each time. Might still feel good, but maybe not as good, because when you created it, it was just what you needed in that moment. However, if you change, the same thing can't be just what you need. Now, initially, this isn't so bad. A habitual pattern that is new, it's not so ingrained. It's familiar, but it won't tug at you. You slip into the slipstream of it. And it's not greatly different to that which you exactly would need. So it feels maybe not great, but it feels goodish. But the more that you change, and the habitual pattern doesn't, the greater the gap between where you are, and so what you want and what you need, and where that habitual pattern exists and takes you back to. And suddenly that habitual pattern no longer feels good. Remember, feels good as spiritual reference means it's leading you in the direction of your greatest good. Now, it might feel good, not spiritual reference, as in, yeah, feels familiar. It's what I've always done. I don't have to think about it. It just is what I do. There's a sense of that feels okay, but there's not a sense of feels good spiritual reference. It's no longer in your greatest good. It's no longer taking you towards true health. And true health, you might think, well, that's definitely to do with physical body. It's to do with every single cell. A cell existing in true health is a cell that's working as it's designed to work. Because your cells love to work. But when they don't feel good is when they're working outside of their capability or outside of their capacity to do that. And they won't feel good if they're not working at all. Working outside of your capacity and capability is another name for efforting. It's a cell that goes, I'll do that. I don't quite know how. It's not really my job. Oh God, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it. And it feels like graft. It feels like hard work, not spiritual definition. Remember, work feels good. Work, not spiritual definition, can be grafty, can be like, it's not part of my job to do that. Why do I have to do that? Nobody else wants to do that. That's the rubbish bit of my job that I leave to the very end of the day and then have to get done because otherwise my boss will be annoyed with me. Can you see the difference? Can you feel the difference? So when I drop now into this understanding of efforting over achieving, efforting will always be habitual pattern. Because if the gap between your habitual pattern, when you needed it, when you designed that response, and where you are now is a big gulf, falling into that habitual pattern will feel like efforting because those cells have changed. You has changed. That's all of you has changed. And so that habitual pattern is no longer helpful. Those cells are having to do something in a way that they once did but no longer do. So they're working outside of their capacity and capability In comes the efforting. We think the habitual pattern that's familiar, that runs on autopilot, is less effort. Actually, there's a tipping point where it becomes efforting, where cells are doing their job, doing a job that they're not designed to do, meaning that other cells that are designed to do that job are having their job taken away from them, and that doesn't feel good either. If we come to your body, to give you a really hard and fast example, picture muscles. Let's say you're doing a curl up in Pilates, like a sit up. Hands are behind your head, elbows are bent in, and your job is to flex your spine in this direction to pull you up from the floor. Now, many of us will use these muscles of our chest to pull ourselves up, when actually the most efficient way to do that is to use the muscles that flex the thoracic spine. Now, for many of us, for many different reasons, that bit doesn't move so well. So instead of asking this to do more, we go, habitual pattern, I can just pull myself up from here. You can, doesn't mean it's the best way. And guess what? The more we effort, the more these have to effort, the more they have to work, the more they have to, the more they kind of drip in low vibration and negative kinetic energy, meaning that they're having to do it with even more labor, with even more baggage. It means that they have to work even harder. They get into that habitual pattern of, oh, if I do this, I work hard. Meanwhile, the muscles that wrap around your thoracic spine, that are actually designed to create the flexion, little bit at a time, bone by bone, are going, oh, I don't get to do my job because somebody's already there. When they turn on, I'm not in a position where I can help. So I just have to sit on the sidelines. In Pilates, I bring you to a, can we stop these doing all the work, which might have been release, dropping the tension, breath. You would have heard all of these things as a way to stop this working so that something else can do its job. I say, stop this efforting so that you can achieve the curl up that you want. And why does it matter how you're curling up? Well, if you're doing one, it doesn't. If you're doing it to get it done, to reach, to flick a scorpion off your knee because you don't want it to sting you, I don't care how you get it done. You put in the effort, you achieve it, scorpion doesn't sting you. Perfect. However, if it's a movement that you are doing regularly, and I don't mean a curl up, I mean a flexion of your thoracic spine. Maybe you're sitting at a computer, maybe you're bending down to look at your kids, maybe you do this all day long every day. Over time, if you do it in an efforting, habitual way, your body will start to complain. It will start to not be able to do it any other way. You will lose function. Your form will change. And suddenly you're left with a body that is made up of cells that are a bit damn grumpy with you. And it's their job to tell you when they're grumpy. It's their job to tell you when, to be honest, they don't really get angry. They just kind of go, oh, I don't get to work. I don't get to be part of the party. I have to sit on the sidelines. I think of my cells like they just get a bit sad when they don't get to play. They want to be involved. That's why they're there. They want to be the creators of change that they're designed to be. And they'll tell you if that imbalance exists. If they're not able to do what they're designed to do, they let you know. And how do they let you know? Potentially physical symptoms. Maybe your shoulders get a bit narky with you. Maybe your neck isn't so comfortable. Maybe you put it down to the fact that you sit in front of a computer all day and I've got terrible posture. It's not about how you hold yourself. It's about how you move yourself, because you are a moving entity. Movement is life. You are moving all the time, even if you think you're statically stationary, sedentary, you're still moving. It's how you're moving that's important to me. Are you efforting to get the movement done? Or are you achieving the movement? There's another layer to this that I want to talk to you guys about, and that is something very close to me. I spent a lot of my early years feeling like if I put in loads of effort at school, in early jobs, if I put in loads of effort, no one could blame me if I got it wrong. I was still a good person because look at the effort she put in. Gold star, Bryony, for effort. Well done. You put in so much effort. You didn't quite get the right answer. You didn't get the job done in the way we wanted it done. You didn't quite achieve. But we can't really blame you because look at the effort you put in. Basically, you did that in a bit of a rubbish way, but we don't have the heart to tell you it was rubbish. And so I went, oh, feels safe there. If I put in loads of effort, that's something I can control. I might not be able to control whether I can achieve the thing, but I can always control how much effort I put in. So I was the kid who would stay up and I'd write reams and reams and reams for my homework. And it would be all wrong. But you know what? The teacher wouldn't give me a bad mark because look at all the effort she put in. She put in hours of work. It didn't serve me. Do you know why? Because I didn't trust that I could achieve. And so I leant towards efforting. If someone had grabbed me early days and been like, you can achieve, you can do this, and they had instilled that trust in me that I can do it, I wouldn't have needed to put in all the effort. Picture me like the muscle doing the wrong job. I'm never going to get it done because I'm doing the wrong job. I'm doing the thing I'm not supposed to be doing, that I'm not designed to do. But do you know what? I'm going to keep efforting and I'm going to stay in it for longer and I'm going to hurt myself and I'm going to keep efforting and efforting and efforting and efforting and efforting because nobody can blame me and I can't blame myself. And I might not be, doing the right thing. No one can blame me because look at how much I'm doing. I'm here to tell you, every single little cell that forms up you, but you, your conscious identity, you, your thinking mind, some of you need to hear this. You can achieve. You can create change. You are a powerful creator. And when I say create change, if there feels like there's a gulf between achieving and creating, think again. Maybe your job is to write a PR statement for somebody. Do you achieve it in the way that you want to? Did you create it? Maybe you are bringing up children. Are you creating a life for them that allows them to flourish as all that they are? Maybe you're making a nutritious meal. You're creating because you are a powerful creator. In every moment, you're creating. So you can achieve the change. The only question is, do you want that change? Do you want to achieve that? Because the only time that you won't achieve what you want is that you don't really want it. Or if you're trying to achieve it through efforting, if you're trying to do it the way that you aren't designed to do it, be you, do what you want, and wow, will you see the powerful creator that you are. And this is where I say to you, back away from efforting. Even if it's ticking some kind of box that makes you feel like a good person, back away from efforting because on some level, it's stopping you achieving, creating the life that you want to live, made up of all the little things that you want in your life. Maybe you're in a job and to get to the end of the day, you have to effort all day long. And you know deep down in your soul that this is not what you're supposed to be doing. Or maybe that there is a better way to do the job that you're doing. Maybe you're not stepping towards it because it feels a bit scary, because it's change, because it's new, because what will everybody else think if I do it a different way? Let's give you a hard and fast example. I know that there are people in my community who have discovered recently that they have an optimum time of day in which they can work, in which they're most productive, in which all of their pours out of them and work feels less efforting because they're not swimming upstream. I know that some of them have conflicted against, I can't start my working day at 12 p.m. All those productive, busy, important people are at their desk at 8:30. And I'm reading a book in the morning and having a lie-in and starting my work at 12. So I'm going to start at 8:30. And do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to effort until 12. And then when I hit my sweet spot, I'm so knackered. I've burnt myself out. I'm so full of low vibration and surrounded by low kinetic energy that I have to take a break. I don't get anything done. I find myself looking at Facebook for 2 hours. It's because you've efforted and now you're missing your sweet spot. If you haven't efforted in the morning and you've got to the time where you can shine, my God, would you get so much more done? that you'd get it done in the way that you get it done. You would achieve without efforting. And that is what I want for you. Why? Because if you achieve, you're creating the change that only you can bring in the way that only you can bring it. Imagine the magic that you're pouring out into the world. And from there, you're going to jump off into more achievement, more creation. This isn't about achievement defining you. This isn't about tick boxing and certificate gaining and exam passing. Achieving in this sense is creating all the things in your life that make your life full of experiences and connections that build a life that you love living. So maybe the title of this video should be Efforting versus Creating. And all I want for you is to recognize how powerful a creator you are. Drop the efforting, see what happens. You might surprise yourself.